I used to say funnels were not for me. I thought they were too salesy, too cookie cutter, too kind of mainstream online business. And honestly, they didn't align with the authentic, one of a kind, sacred business that I wanted to build. But over the past few years, I've gone from being completely funnel averse to completely funnel focused. I now laugh and say that I'm all about the funnels. And today I'm sharing why I did a complete 180 and why I believe that focusing on one clear offer with a single pathway has been the best decision for my business, and it could be for yours too. If you've ever felt hesitant or even skeptical about funnels, this episode might just change your mind. Welcome to Herself, a space for women to have deep conversations about the intersection between spiritual entrepreneurship and fulfilling your potential, so you can become the woman you truly are in every area of your life. After being in business for over 2 decades, I've learned, as you likely have too, that as you grow your business grows you in unexpected, often challenging, yet miraculous ways. Here, we'll talk about how to get out of your own way so you can grow a business that's abundant and sustainable while allowing you to be a force for good in the world. I'll give you simple, actionable strategies as well as wisdom and inspiration to help you root into your wholeness, lead from your values, and work in ways that feel deeply aligned so you can bring your true self into the world through your business and in every area of your life. Hello, beautiful women. Welcome back to the Herself podcast. This is Sarah. And before we move into today's episode, I wanted to let you know that I am doing a special giveaway around my new book, Handbook for the Heartbroken. And here's how the giveaway works. If you write a review for this book on Amazon, you will not only help other women to discover this book, but you'll also get a chance to enter a special giveaway that I have created just for you. So just by leaving a single review on Amazon, here's what you could win. You could win a 30-minute one-on-one session with me, which is a space for personalized guidance and support. This has over a $300 value. You could win a free ticket to my 2-day virtual retreat happening the first weekend in December. It's all about design your dream business, where you learn how to align your business with your larger vision for your life and 2025 using internal family systems and feminine spiritual principles. And normally a ticket to this is $997. You could also win a copy of Handbook for the Heartbroken to gift to a friend over the holidays to spread the healing journey with someone who's close to you. You could win a $25 Amazon gift card to treat yourself to something meaningful over the holidays. Or you could win my course, Befriending Your Inner Critic, where you learn how to apply internal family systems, women's yoga, and meditation to transform your inner tormentors into your allies. And this is a $197 value. So here's how you can enter to win, and also how you can even double your chances of winning. So first, like I said, leave a review on Amazon for Handbook for the Heartbroken by November 19th. Then take a screenshot of your review and you can either DM it to me on Instagram. I'm at Sarah Von Stover, or you can email it to me at hello@sarahvonstover.com. Be sure to include your name, your mailing address, your email address. And then if you want to double your chances, share a picture of yourself with the book or a quote that you loved from the book on social media by November 19th, tagging me at Sarah Von Stover. And then not only will you be entered twice, but I'll also feature some of these posts on my social media to inspire others. So there's one entry per person, again, unless you do the double your chances option, where you also share a picture of yourself with the book or a quote you loved on social media. Reviews need to be submitted and sent to me by November 19th. And winners will be announced on Instagram on November 21st. So stay tuned. Okay. And thank you for sharing your thoughts and experiences about the book. Really, every word that you write is a gift to me and to those who might find the book through you. Your support is deeply felt, and it is truly a joy for me to offer these gifts as a small thank you in return. All right, so let's move into today's episode. I want to start by saying that I am outing myself and sharing a way that I am contradicting my past self. And I want to first share my thoughts on contradiction because I am totally okay with contradiction with other people and with myself. I feel like it's actually a sign of growth and evolution when we are contradicting our past selves. And here's why I believe that. I believe it's okay to contradict ourselves because growth and change are natural parts of life. As we evolve, our experiences, our knowledge, our perspectives shift. And this helps us to see things differently. It's actually a good sign that we're willing to change. And what may not have felt right for us in the past can really shift and change and become essential tools as our needs and our understanding deepen. And they show us that we are open to adaptation, even if it means challenging our previous beliefs. So rather than signaling inconsistency, contradictions show flexibility, they can show humility, they can show willingness to let go of what no longer feels true. And embracing shifts as we grow and change helps us to stay aligned with our authenticity and even as our paths change direction. So, with this, I want to say that I used to be very averse to creating funnels in my business. But first, some of you may be wondering, well, what the heck do you mean by a funnel? Okay, so let's get clear on that. Let's define what a funnel is. A funnel is a structured step by step process that guides potential customers from first discovering your business to becoming committed paying clients. So it typically starts with more of a broad outreach, like a lead magnet. This could be a free PDF guide. It could be a free mini course, a free webinar, a free workshop series. I know that you have signed up for these in the past. Maybe you've offered it in the past. And then that gradually narrows, offering increasingly relevant information and opportunities to connect until only the most interested, aligned clients move forward to your main offer. So these are ways of kind of qualifying the people that come into the world of our business. So, in essence, a funnel serves as a journey that takes your ideal clients through stages of awareness, interest, and finally decision making it easier for them to understand your value and to make informed choices. So it's a way to both educate and nurture potential clients while repelling people who are not the right fit clients, and then simplifying the path for those potential right fit clients to work with you while helping you to also grow your business in a more sustainable and manageable way. So today I want to share with you how I've come to embrace funnels as a key part to my business building strategy in both the present and in the long term, as far as I can see, and how they're helping me to sustainably simplify and scale so that I can share my work with more people, still in high quality ways, and also in ways that afford me more freedom. So let's first talk about why I used to be so funnel averse. When I first learned about funnels, this was back in 2008. I had just moved back to the US. I'd been living in Thailand for 10 years, and it was in Thailand that I really started on this path of women's spirituality. And I had created my business there, but when I came back to the US, I realized that most of my clients now were literally all over the world. And I had been doing the work of building my email list and getting people who were coming to all of my events, which are in person at that time, getting them on my email list. But since Thailand is such a mecca for world travelers, people who were on my email list were literally from all over. So when I came back to the US and I wasn't going to be offering live events in the way that I was in Thailand and throughout Southeast Asia, I knew that I needed to learn how to do business in a new way. So I hired my very first business coach, and he started teaching me about funnels. And when he did, let me just be honest, it just felt too salesy to me. There was something about them that just didn't sit right. And this first business coach, he helped me a lot, but he was very much in the old school of bro marketing. So I needed to really make it a point to extract the key principles that he was teaching without losing the heart and soul of what I was offering. And to me, funnels felt really rigid, like you had to put people on this conveyor belt that forced them down a predetermined path. And just overall, it felt inauthentic, almost like I'd be turning my clients into numbers. And this work that I was offering and still am offering really felt like my soul's calling. So it felt like a contradiction. And I think that I worried that using a funnel would make my business feel more like a machine rather than a meaningful, really life changing experience, which it has been for thousands of women. And I didn't want to treat these women who were coming to do deep work like they were just dollar signs or data points. It was about so much more than that for me. And another big concern was that funnels seemed really cookie cutter and formulaic. And it was like it was a formula that everyone was supposed to follow, but it just didn't feel like me. I'm an Enneagram 4, and for those of you who know the Enneagram and fellow Enneagram 4s out there, you know that it's really important for us to feel unique. And I had this idea that I had to choose between being true to my values and being unique and using a funnel. It felt like it was an either or situation. And for that reason, for a long time, I believed that funnels just weren't aligned with running a heart-centered business. And I thought that if I wanted to keep my business more personal and authentic, I really had to avoid them. And I know I'm not alone in this. There are so many other more soul-centered entrepreneurs who struggle with the same fear. We don't want to come across as being pushy or feel like we're pressuring our clients into buying something just to make a sale. We really want to be doing deeper, more meaningful work. And for a long time, I held on to those beliefs and I avoided funnels altogether. But what I didn't realize then was that it's possible to have a both and. And now in this season of my life, I'm always looking for the both and. That really feels like the feminine approach or really the balanced approach. I didn't realize that it's possible to create a funnel that's both strategic and deeply aligned with who I am and what I stand for. As a little girl, I loved playing school, and my favorite part was writing on a chalkboard with a fresh piece of white chalk. Today, my teacher's heart lives on, only now, instead of teaching with chalkboards, I make sure my online programs are stored and shared in the most organized, intuitive way possible. For the past few years, I've used Kajabi for this. It's heads and tails above any other online course platform that I've used since I first started teaching online back in 2008. Not only does Kajabi host all of my online programs, it also hosts all my program web pages and opt-in pages. It even hosts the private student-only podcasts I share inside my programs. Plus, it's easy for me and my team to use, and most importantly, it's easy for my students to use. I love it. If you're looking to uplevel, streamline, and beautify things in your own business, whether it's how you deliver your online courses, create web pages, or even host your entire website, I invite you to enjoy a free 30-day trial with Kajabi, which is one of the sponsors for this podcast. You can click the link in the show notes to get started with your free 30-day trial. If you're like me, you'll be so happy you did. The only downside is no chalk is involved. So here's where I had my turning point. Back in 2021, after several years of challenge that led me to really step away from everything and reevaluate my entire existence, literally. And I write about that experience in my book, Handbook for the Heartbroken. But when I started to return to things in 2021, I found myself in a place of wanting to rebuild my business with more clarity and purpose. And I had often shared that my previous business, which I say I was really built from 2008 to about 2018. So about a 10-year process there. It was like I had moved into a house. So I was just kind of like flying by the seat of my pants, which is totally okay. I was just learning things as I went. And I felt like I was just kind of like adding on new components to the house as I went. And those new components weren't necessarily cohesive. There wasn't necessarily a centralized vision. And by the time 2018 came around, it was feeling quite overwhelming and a little bit disjointed to me. So when I was rebuilding, I wanted to start fresh and to really be like an architect and create the blueprint for what I wanted to build, and then have a really systematic plan for building that out brick by brick, piece by piece. And so when my old self had died, my old business died with it. And I really set out to recreate my business from who I am now and the future that I wanted to shape, not only for myself, but also for our world, because the world now is very different than it was in 2018, and definitely very different than it was back in 2008. And I'm also in a different season of life. Now I'm in my late 40s and looking ahead to my menopausal and postmenopausal years, where I'm really looking at stepping into more fully my life's work over these next 2 or even 3 decades of my life, if I'm lucky. So when I stepped back into things, my focus at first was really on number one, feeling into what I was most passionate about then, because I had changed a lot. And since the old iteration of my business, internal family systems had become a really prominent part of my life. And I wanted to weave that into my work as well. And second, I really needed to find out where my own passions intersected with the needs of my audience, because my audience had changed too. And in the past, I'd often just follow my creative impulses. I'd build new offers anytime that I had an inspired idea, kind of follow my whims. And while that was exciting, it was also exhausting because it meant I was constantly reinventing the wheel. So even if I had come across something that worked well, I might shift it and change it. And these days, I would never, ever do that. I would say, oh, this is working. Let me double down on this. Let me enhance this and let me kind of ride this for as long as I possibly can. So, like I said, that bold approach led me to create a lot of different programs, a lot of different offerings. I'd be kind of doing something new quite regularly rather than refining just one or two things that I could deliver exceptionally well over time. And looking back now, I realize that this approach made things a lot harder than they needed to be. I was spreading myself thin and I was really missing out on the power that comes with consistency and with mastery. So when I stepped back into things, I was really craving a business that felt simpler, more sustainable, and that allowed me to go deeper with just one or two core offers. So this would allow me to focus on doing fewer things, but doing them really well over and over and over again, sort of rinse and repeat business model. And here's the turning point. So I realized that if I wanted this simplicity and sustainability, I needed to focus on creating one clear path for people to enter into the world of my business. It was a bit of an aha moment for me. And with that, I realized that that was going to come about most efficiently through a funnel. And I realized that a funnel didn't have to be rigid or salesy. Instead, it could be a really beautifully clear and intentional pathway through which my soul's offerings can flow out into the world and through which the world can flow into my soul's offerings. So I began to see funnels as a way, as a conduit for my soul's work, to offer clients a clear journey, one that would make it easier for them to understand what I do and for me to scale sustainably. So scaling means that we serve more people without working harder. So I shifted my approach and I embraced funnels, not as a constraint, but as a supportive framework, really the key framework that could bring more ease, clarity, and depth to my business. And within that, I can still infuse my creativity and my soul's work. I believe that my business model is incredibly creative and really came out of my depths and in partnership, co creation with divine inspiration. But the funnel provides the banks of the river. It provides this more masculine structure. And over time, it creates more predictability of traffic flow, of income, and ultimately of growth. And this is one of the things that most women business owners are lacking, this predictability, not having enough clients, not having enough income, not being able to predict what's going to come from month to month. So once I started focusing on one offer and one pathway, everything in my business has started to feel simpler and more streamlined. This doesn't mean that it's always easy. There are hard pieces of it, but the way that I do it has become much more simplified. And this approach has brought a greater sense of clarity. So there's no more juggling several different offers at once or switching gears constantly. I can put most of my energy and creativity into refining one or two core offers. So for me, that is Sorceress CEO and Sorceress School, but really it's one core funnel, which is Sorceress CEO, and I'll explain more about that. So there is this one core funnel, and then there's smaller ones within that. So for example, someone enters into the world of my business through a lead magnet, which is a free offer. And this could be a free PDF guide, a free mini course. I share this organically on this podcast, on my social media, through my email newsletter. And I also run Facebook ads every day to this lead magnet. So every day I'm building my audience while I sleep. And I'm also making money from it because I have something on the thank you page of my lead magnet. It's called a Tripwire offer, where people can get one of my introductory courses at a very discounted price if they purchase, say, within 20 minutes of landing on that thank you page. So this is happening every day without me needing to do anything but just to set that up initially. And then they get onto my email list and then they might start listening to this podcast and they have fully entered into the world of my business. From there, someone might join a free workshop or a free masterclass that I offer maybe seasonally. And from there, they might join Sorcerer's School or Sorcerer's CEO. And both of those programs work synchronistically with each other and feed into one another. So Sorcerer's School is my 6-week immersion, which is all about mastering the inner game of business and stepping into your divine feminine leadership, using mostly the technology of internal family systems and also sacred leadership. And then Sorcerer's CEO is a year-long mentorship circle, which is all about mastering the outer game of business and gives you the framework step by step to grow a soul-powered multiple six-figure business while applying the technology from Sorcerer's School. So while applying the principles of mastering the inner game, because we all know that it's in the implementation of things that we really start to freak out. And the building blocks are not that complex, but the stuff that comes up for us as we do that, the self-doubt, the procrastination, that is where we get really tripped up. So building out a funnel like this pathway is a multi-year process. And I would say it's about 2 to 3 years of really dedicated focus. So it requires a lot of patience and perseverance. It requires a willingness to embrace a lot of trial and error and to see what messaging is working the best, to really get the right audience lined up with what you're offering, creating and refining your offer. So iteration is really the key, and being willing to play for the long game and constantly tweaking, refining, getting it right. So for me, the long game is deeper service to this world upliftment of women, and freedom and fulfillment for myself. Focusing on a single pathway has made growing my business in this way feel more attainable because, again, I don't have to reinvent the wheel each time. Instead, I can build on what's working and make improvements over time. And I notice that having one clear path for clients helps to create clarity for them. It helps them to plan because maybe one of these offerings isn't right for them right now, but it will be in the future. And they can see, oh, I can't join now, but I could join the next time this is offered, or I can join next year. So then people aren't getting it lost in this maze of choices, wondering, what should I do first? What's the right thing for me? Instead, they have a simple guided journey that naturally lead them into a core offer, which for me is Sorceress CEO. So this helps my client experience to become more seamless instead of having them be overwhelmed with options. I just walk them step by step through a journey that feels more purposeful and even intuitive. So a funnel can help your clients understand your core offer because it allows you to tell a cohesive story each step of the way. They are receiving the exact information and support they need to make the next right informed decision. And funnels also help to take the emotion out of it, which I can say for myself as a woman and mentoring so many women in business, this is hugely supportive for us. We can really get taken down by our emotions, especially in our businesses. And I'm a really big fan on just deciphering the data, looking at the data. So, for example, in Source for CEO, I encourage women to really be the CEO of their businesses, to look at their numbers on a regular basis, have weekly check ins with themselves and their businesses, have quarterly check ins, monthly check ins, annually, after each promotion, doing a launch debrief. And you can see things like, how is this landing page converting? If I'm running ads, what's the cost per lead? What's the click through rate? What messaging is most lining up with people? What visual marketing is most lining up with people? This is one of the key ways that we can repeat and refine over time. If I'm selling an offer, what's the overall conversion rate for that offer? And this helps you to see where there might be a breakdown in the process and to pinpoint kind of the weak links that need to be strengthened rather than just shooting in the dark or scrapping a thing entirely if you don't get the results that you want. You can actually look at the numbers and see, okay, to improve this, which of these components do I need to focus my attention on? So then the shifts that you make are very clear and intentional. And once you make those, you can measure the results of them. And this gives you a lot more power, a lot more clarity, and more predictability in your business. You can predict the traffic coming in, and from there, you can predict the sales that you're going to make. Then you can see very clearly what are the levers that you need to pull in order to kind of get the flywheel spinning in a more profound way. This helps you to get out of the feast and famine cycle. So overall, funnels became essential in my business strategy, not just essential, but central, because they are the pathway to more simplicity, more scalability, and the ability to deliver a clear, engaging experience to my clients and more security for me as a business owner over time. Now, creating a funnel that felt authentic and aligned with my values was essential to me. I knew that it had to be more than just a mechanism for sales and for traffic. It had to truly support and serve my clients and support my soul's work in this world. So the first step I took was designing a lead magnet that felt genuinely valuable. I thought about what my audience would find helpful right away that would really give them a taste of what it's like to work with me and would give them a quick win to make a difference in their lives right away. And that would give them a taste of the next, kind of like the first step in a program of mine. So we spent quite a bit of time on this piece in Sorcerer CEO. It's lead magnet is really the entrance to the world of your business. It's how people start to get introduced to you and your teachings. It's how you build that know, like, and trust factor enough for people to want to take the next step to work more deeply with you. So it's really worth spending some time here and really, really getting this right. And it takes some iterations and feedback to get this right. So then once someone opts into the lead magnet, I set up a series of nurturing emails. But instead of just focusing on selling something, I aim to provide insights and tools to support them. And they can see whether or not then they would want to continue on in one of my programs. And I make sure the emails are personal and conversational, sharing parts of my own journey, the struggles I face so that I know many of them face. And again, I really want to build trust and show that I understand their challenges really deeply. And maybe some of you have even signed up for one of my lead magnets. And then for those who stay engaged, I might include an invitation to a webinar where we can dive deeper and offer real value. And usually I do this in the form of a workshop or a workshop series. And then we can just start to connect at a deeper level. And throughout, I make adjustments to ensure it doesn't feel pushy or salesy. And I really make sure to offer value, to share things that are really going to help to improve women's lives. And I always give the chance for people to opt out, to move at their own pace, to feel like they don't need to make a decision immediately. I really want them to feel like they're in control of their journey, of their decision making. And so by the end, the people who do decide to work with me feel supported and connected, and their transition into my offer feels natural and genuine. And so designing a funnel in this way helps me to stay true to my values. And it also helps me to continually be building a strong foundation of trust with my audience, something that I believe really makes all the difference because a lot of what's important to me, and I know so many women who are in this community, is the community building aspect and being with other women who are on this journey and not feeling like we need to figure it out or do it all ourselves. So also after people sign up through a lead magnet, then they engage with me more regularly, like I said, which is through my weekly emails. That for me is Sarah's Sunday Journal, which I love sending out every Sunday morning. If you're not subscribed, I invite you to. You can find the link to that in the show notes. Also, this weekly podcast is a way I can also deepen with people and share things that I'm learning, share behind the scenes things so that we can learn more about ourselves and each other and our journeys into sacred business, and also to determine whether or not we'd be a good fit for working together. So in the past, when in my work, once in a while I would run Facebook ads. I would hire, say, a Facebook ad agency for a launch or two or three even. But now I'm constantly running Facebook ads. It's just a key part of my business. And again, it's not like I don't focus on organic reach. I obviously do. And this podcast is one example of that. But again, I'm embracing the both and approach. I'm doing things organically and I'm setting things up to be running more automatically through these Facebook ads, helping me to reach people that I wouldn't otherwise. So really one of the biggest benefits of having a single funnel and one primary offer, and again, for me, this is a multi-year process, so I'm still inside of it, but it really helps to reduce overwhelm because with one clear pathway, everything in my business just feels much more manageable. I'm able to plan much further out, and that gives just a deeper sense of security. So in the past, when I was juggling a lot of different offers and trying to cater to a lot of people's needs and even just my own creative whims, it ended up leaving me feeling scattered and exhausted. And now I just feel a deeper sense of clarity and overall just control over how my business is growing. And again, I'm following that kind of master blueprint. It has also allowed me to really simplify and streamline my daily operations. And now I'd say my business is stronger than it's ever been. And I relate that to just all the back end systems that we've put into place. And because we have these core programs, every offer that you have needs to have a marketing component. It needs to have a sales component. It needs to have a delivery component. And so been able to create the systems for those in the back end of the business to help things to run a lot more smoothly. And again, those are always being refined over time, but they're here. and they just provide a lot more security. And with this, it allows me to just continually see, how can I improve what I'm doing? How can I make it even better? How can I offer even more value to the women who are in these programs? And it's also giving me more clarity on my mission and how I want to serve, because with just one pathway, it's easier to see how every task and how every decision aligns with my overall vision. So there's kind of like less decision fatigue, because it's like, does it fit into this bigger picture? Does it fit into this pathway or not? And creatively, I still feel really inspired. I'm able to direct that creativity into these structures that are already in place rather than constantly creating new things. Now, I know that for many of you, the idea of a funnel might feel uncomfortable. It might feel like, wow, that's a lot of work. Or maybe you're like, this doesn't fit with my business model. Or you worry maybe it will be too salesy or pushy or too techy. And those are all valid concerns. Yet I would say that this could work for really any kind of business model. So, a lot of us who lead heart centered businesses are wary of anything that feels like hard selling. We want our clients to feel supported, not pressured. We want to remain aligned with our values. And we might not be that inclined towards technology. But I can say, if I can learn how to do this, you can too. When I was first learning how to set up my own Facebook ads, to run my lead magnets, I felt completely overwhelmed, but I blocked out a whole day and I got support in learning how to do it. And I just set it up and it worked. It worked. And of course, like I said, there's always tweaking and refining, because you might put something up and the message might not align. You might not have the right audiences set up. You might not have the right visuals. And you're going to need to maybe do some edits to it to really get it working. And that's okay. You're not doing anything wrong if it doesn't work right out of the gate. That's actually to be expected. And the important thing is that you don't just throw it away, but instead you look at it and really, like I said, look at the data. Be working with someone that can help you to analyze the data to see exactly, where is this breaking down? What do we need to improve or enhance? What do we need to shift in order to get this so that it's really working? So, as we move forward, a big tip that I have is, again, just to get started with it and to be willing to iterate over time, be willing for things not to work at first. Remember, this is kind of a multi-year process. And to really see this as a reflection of your mission that genuinely benefits the people that you serve, and it also genuinely benefits the kind of life that you want to live. Having more simplicity, having more ease, having more freedom. And one example of how one of these funnels can serve the people in your world is, like, a lead magnet can be a free resource that addresses a common problem or a question your audience has. It should feel like a gift, like a generous gift. You could think, like, what is a question that people ask me about a lot? What's a problem that they come to me with a lot? And imagine if you could just refer them to this lead magnet. That is a PDF guide or a video series or an email mini course that leads them step by step through answering that problem. Then, not only do you not need to answer that question for every single person that asks, it's automated, but it also helps to share that with more people who might need it. So I encourage you to start small. So try creating one simple funnel or pathway to begin with. Maybe it's a lead magnet, maybe it's a short email sequence, maybe it's a single webinar. Webinars are a bit more complex, but start with something smaller that lets you see what feels right and what resonates with your audience and what feels like the first step into a larger journey that you want to invite people into. Because here's the thing, most of the women who step into my program Sorcerer's CEO, we always start that year-long journey with a one-on-one call with just me and this woman. And often she's coming, depends on what stage she is in her business journey. But if she has some experience under her belt with her business, she's often coming in with several different offers. And she's also coming in with a desire to simplify things. And one of the first things that we do is see, okay, so what is like the one thing that we can focus on, that we can really, really build out in an intentional and substantial way, to really build out those systems for marketing, for sales, for delivery, to really fully build out one funnel end to end that can deeply support you to have this consistent traffic, consistent revenue, have this consistent flow of people coming into your core offers, and also support the people that you're working with, because again, it gives them this clear, intentional pathway. So it requires the courage to simplify. It requires often getting the support to even get the clarity on what is the best thing to double down on. What are the things that is best to prune, to reduce, to eliminate, maybe even to fold in on each other in order to do that. Because ultimately, a well-crafted funnel can help you reach the people who need you the most and create a smoother journey for them to connect with your work. So to sum it all up, embracing funnels has brought clarity, has brought simplicity, scalability to my business. It has not detracted from my creativity in any way, shape, or form. By offering one core offer and creating a single streamlined pathway, I am able to grow more sustainably without feeling a lot of overwhelm. So this journey has taught me the value of staying open to new approaches, to, yes, contradicting myself from time to time, even when those new approaches feel initially uncomfortable, even when they go against our past beliefs, even when they require me to learn new things, even when they require more of a multi-year process rather than an immediate quick win. And it's not to say we don't have quick wins in our business. Sometimes we need to have a quick cash infusion. That can absolutely be part of this business model, but we also want to be building out things for the longer term. And sometimes it's exactly these shifts that really lead to the most meaningful growth. So I encourage you to reflect on the areas in your own business where you might be holding back due to old beliefs or past hesitations. For instance, are there approaches or strategies that you've avoided, that you're scared of, that you just don't know how to do, that feel intimidating to you, that feel like they're just not aligned with you, that if you embrace more of this both and approach, that they could actually bring you more ease, focus, and even joy? Because here's the thing. Growth often requires us to try things we never imagined would be right for us. We've all heard that saying that growth happens outside of our comfort zone, right? So when we stay open, we give ourselves a chance to evolve in ways that truly serve our vision. I hope that this episode has inspired you to look at funnels a little bit differently and maybe even to explore them as a path toward more clarity and expansion in your own business. Now, before we close, I would love to hear from you. So let me ask you this. What's one belief or approach in your business that you've held on to, but might be open to rethinking? Or if you've had a similar shift in perspective like I did with funnels, I'd love to hear about it. So let me know by heading over to Instagram. You can send me a DM. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're feeling inspired, you can share this episode with a friend who might need a fresh perspective too. Above all, thank you for being here with me on this constant journey of growth and discovery. And I look forward to our continued evolution together. Thank you for joining me today. And remember, change doesn't come from listening alone. I invite you to commit to taking one small or large courageous action after today's conversation. One step you can take, if you haven't already, is to sign up for my Sunday journal. It's a weekly newsletter filled with inspiration and reflections about the intersection between spiritual entrepreneurship and fulfilling your potential to help you become the woman you truly are in every area of your life. You can subscribe at programs-sarahavaughnstover.com/journal. And if you found this podcast valuable, please share it with the women in your world. Also, I'd be very grateful if you'd leave a review. It helps others find resources like this, and I'd love to hear what's coming alive for you after listening today. Above all, keep going, and never forget the unique offerings you and your true self bring to the world. Until next time, I'm sending you my heartfelt support.